Just wanted to provide a video for the current state of the driveway project. The majority of all the pavers have been put down. The corners still have to be locked in. Some blocks were set on my request to help lock in the sides. Previously, the contractor wanted to just do only concrete, but in my mind, the sides of the approach, the apron, would see too much traffic and would cause just a thin piece of concrete to crack without setting some blocks in. So I wanted the coping stone to continue onto the driveway and then terminate somewhere in here or all the way to the road, just depending on what's possible. Wanted to finish the coping around this wall. Up on top is yet to be determined. I'm not sure if I'm gonna include this at all into the project, so that's gonna be excluded for now. All the caps on the wall have not been glued, which is great. This particular paver is like an oversized paver, which is, I believe, 24 by 24, which has been cut in half. Unfortunately, well, this side has been cut with a table saw, and the ones on the garden wall were done with a pipe saw. So they're not that straight on the back side, but I don't think that's a huge deal. This garden area will be backfilled with some topsoil, not all the way to the top, but a little bit. Then we have this section. Again, originally the contractor was not going to put in the wall for this area, but I requested that he put one in to lock back the height difference between the driveway level and the grade, the current grade of the yard. So he put that in. I asked him to use a geogrid because I already have some on site. He put it on that section, but he didn't put it on that section. And I'm still concerned. You may not be able to see it here, but there's still, I don't know, 12 inches, maybe more of gravel that's holding back the driveway, that's locking it in. I don't know if that's the best way. I still feel like it should be locked in mechanically until it gets a little flatter in this area right here. But I did want to continue the coping from the road all the way up and to there. So that's the state of the garden wall, which actually does not look too bad. This is just set on top. It's not glued or mortared. Originally, this wall was supposed to be 90, was supposed to be perpendicular to the house, but he eyeballed it. So it's actually it's not square with the house, unfortunately, but it is what it is. The wall has a little bit of wave in it. He glued this section down first. And what that has done is, it's probably hard to see on camera, but if I show you closely, there's the discrepancy and the leveling of these pavers. This area is proud. It's proud because the pavers, I'll do my best to show you, have to be notched out because they're sitting on top of the wall block. Yeah, so you can see just a little bit down there. But so since they're sitting on top of the wall block, he cannot compact those anymore. So he's notching the bottom side of this paver down there to make up for it. But the problem with that is that once you do that, it's going to be has an aggressive slope, right? Because that much has to be dropped, and then now you're left with something like that. So that grade doesn't match the final grade he put on the driveway before he started laying the pavers. So there's this song and dance of him pulling pavers, grading, trying to just piecemeal it to get it to work, and what that has caused, again, I don't know how much of this is actually visible on the camera, a lot of undulation. So there's there's a dip here, and then it gets real high like a volcano, flattens out. I like the fact that this part is flat, because then I can use this as an area to put like a table or some chairs. So I like that, but this is not consistent. And I think that kind of repeats itself throughout the project. This is the water feature that he's coping around. So it's going to be a kind of teardrop shape, which is fine. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. But he's got to figure out what he's going to use to finish this edge. Initially, I thought he would use coping, but I think the coping is going to take up too much space. So that needs to be finished and locked in on top of the block. And then there's a liner that, once all of the outside is done, I can lay against the paver and backfill with gravel for a finished look. So that's the same. All of these have been laid in place that have not been glued. And then here's some other areas of concern. So in my mind, I would have kept this piece long, and then I would have created some sort of template, and I would have transferred this curve to my cut here instead of doing a straight cut. So now that is going to have a bunch of grout, and just the fact that someone laid that down thinking that was going to work kind of bothers me a little bit, if I'm to be honest, because I do think this could be a much tighter gap, right? Because then you see what's happened, and I'm going to use black polymetric sand for the driveway, almost certainly. And then this would have been a lot of black grout, a lot of black polymetric sand, and then it gets tight, So that part needs to be finished. This part was damaged actually by me, but I'll have to get this raised up and this section fixed for me to excavate the hole for the stream. So coping around here, transfer that, keep continuing the coping up here, and then that goes to a wall. I think the wall needs to be around, I don't know, maybe 16 inches. So I would say, maybe 3 blocks, 1 block buried or close to it. 6, 12, yeah, sounds about right. 3 blocks from there. And then, so I think what he was going to do was do the wall and step it down into this area. I'm not sure what the best would be, but then also continue the coping to lock it in here. There's really not much more room left here, so this has to be dug out. There's a tree here, but I can hand this dig this out to give enough room. Or if we decide maybe we just leave it how it is, I'm not sure. But all right, so here's one of the bigger parts of the project that have not been finished. So I'll take you to the very top. So this entire area will be a flat, obviously with a tiny bit of pitch out to the front, the backyard. So it'll be level with the underside of this deck step. And I believe that's the best. Oh, sorry. Yes. So I believe it would be best to do. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the block would be under here. So this would be one step down onto the level platform. And that platform would extend out there. And then this would be the first step, would be right here. And then so he was going to do a wall. So starting from the underside of that patio, which is the first step, continuing around, and then it would drop, step, 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 and then slope down to that level to then step up to the pool deck. And then there would be locked in here on that side, and right here, and then maybe a pipe or clear stone on the back side. So when the shedding comes from this flat platform, it would fall here and then continue its way down here, which is where I have the drainage going into the yard. So quick recap, sorry if there's any confusion, is there'll be one step down from this step to onto a flat hardscape area, a usable hardscape area. So it needs to have minimal pitch, just enough to get the water off. And then from here, from the corner here, will be your first step. Boom. So I don't know, 3 or 4 steps down, and then slope down to get to the steps to the pool, which is that area. All right, I'm gonna pause.